This idea is just so comical. I had to point it out. So I was a landlord, and I still am, except now I do short-term Airbnbs. But before, when I did long-term rentals, I did it in areas that were good and bad. And I had issues with a lot of tenants who weren't paying their rent. And so in cases when tenants don't pay their rent, the conversation that we're having is mostly centered around, hey, how are you? Hope you're well. I have not received the rent. What's happening? And then you proceed to receive some sort of sob story. So it's like, oh, I'm struggling with this or that, and I can't do this or that. And sometimes this could be, these are not expensive homes. These are like $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 for areas like Chelsea, Massachusetts, which is pretty expensive, right? So Massachusetts, $1,800 for a 2-bedroom in Chelsea isn't exorbitant. It's actually a decently good deal. And the homes that in Baltimore were like $1,200 for like a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. $1,200. That would arguably be really cheap for 3 people to split, assuming you're getting a 3-bedroom. So anyways, my point is, you call up your tenant and they're like, I can't pay you your rent. What's the next step? You try to resolve that. Either we go to eviction or you pay and you get topped up. If that's a relationship that it's a pretty good relationship, sometimes you try to work it out. But usually what happens is they fall behind, and they never catch up. This is 80% what happens. It's very rare that someone catches up. They most of the time will continue to take advantage of your kindness for letting them go that one time, and then you're behind on all the eviction filings, and that's just like a judicial process. But anyways, what you never should do, just real estate 101, as a landlord, you never should get involved with your tenant's way of life. You should never, ever critique them and say, hey, buddy, I noticed you got a BMW. Why don't you downgrade to a Toyota so that in the future you can pay your rent? You never, ever should be educating your tenants on their way of life. How they live life is their business. You do not talk about it. That's not your place. You could be sued for that kind of shit. That could be looked at as like harassment. Like, you should never open up your fat mouth to tell your tenants how they can get their financial life in order. They don't want to hear it. And in fact, that would be considered inappropriate. Real Estate 101, thank you for coming to my class. Do never, ever attempt this, never, because it's just wrong. You never should open up your mouth to tell anyone, much less your tenant, on how to live their life and get their finances in order.